Hi, I'm Lisa Andria, Transformation Life Coach. Welcome to the Ladies Who Leap podcast, where guests share their inspiring stories of leaping out of their comfort zone with confidence and power and into a life of purpose and fulfillment. Let's listen to their life-changing stories so that we can all learn how to gain the courage to take a leap of faith into a life that we love so that we can all be Ladies Who Leap. Let's get started. Hi, thanks for joining Ladies Who Leap podcast. I'm Lisa Andria, Transformation Life Coach with Ladies Who Leap. My guest today is Alecia Caine, CPA, astrologer, founder of Create Prosperity and Abundance, and we'll talk about that. You notice that CPA, Money Chi, Find Yourself in France, and Sweet Life Italy. After a long journey to becoming a CPA, Alecia started on a mission to change her life. She discovered that she needed to heal first from childhood traumas that crept up with feeling a lack of self-worth, which led to being underpaid, undervalued, and being stressed out. Alecia will share with us how she transformed herself to a confident woman who has taken several leaps in life, including at 50, owning an apartment in Italy where she has lived half of the year for over 8 years. Alecia has taken her knowledge to coach women entrepreneurs using a new meaning for CPA, Create Prosperity and Abundance, and now has a couple more new adventures to help more women heal old wounds and find courage and strength. Welcome, Alecia.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm so happy you're here. You know, I'm glad we met because we actually met through a mutual coaching friend, Chelly Campbell. Everybody check her out. She will actually be an upcoming guest on Ladies Who Leap. So I'm excited about that. And she thought because I'm going to be going to Italy in May that we'd have a lot to talk about. She had no idea how much we had to talk about, how we've connected since we've met. So I'm really excited to learn even more and to share your story with all of the listeners. So I'm going to start with, can you tell us about your journey to become a CPA, a traditional CPA, and how that uncovered past traumas and helped you start a journey to heal?
Well, becoming a CPA was not my dream. I didn't, as a little girl, I wasn't like, oh, I want to be a CPA when I grow up. No, that was my father's dream for me. And, coming from his background, he saw where women didn't have a lot of choices and that now we have choices to become professional. He figured she'll always have a job and she won't have to rely on a man if she's a CPA. So no one ever asked me, what do you want to do? What is your dream? I just kind of went, I got like a lot of praise for just being good at it, and it every year, every tax season, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it just took a little chunk out of me, out of my happiness. But sometimes things happen to you for a reason. I mean, they do. I believe it. It's our path. And I learned, like, here I am, a professional with money and finance and other people's money and finance, which was really in alignment with my astrology. I didn't learn that until much later. But I learned that I can do the nuts and bolts, but I had no relationship with money and finance in my own life. Like, it wasn't showing up. I was overworked. I was stressed. I was underpaid. I mean, peanuts. And raising a family as a single mother, and just my life wasn't working in a prosperous way. Like, I'm a CP, I'm a professional. Where's the respect? It sent me on a journey to discover what is money, what is my relationship with money, what did I grow up with thinking money is, and it just uncovered the psychology of, our parents taught us through their lack of information, and so they passed it on, either to save and accumulate and invest, and then really not spend anything on yourself, not enjoy your money. That was what I was modeled. That was modeled for me. And in this process, I learned what other people were growing up with, like scarcity, and you have to work hard to make money, and all these myths. And Shelley Campbell was so instrumental in helping me form new relationships with money, because that's what she teaches. And I just knew that something was missing from my life. So I'm really all about growth and um yeah, soul growth, spirit growth, and this was on my path. So money chi was what sort of came out of the energy of money. Money is energy, and helping women um, understand the relationships they have so they can create new positive relationships with money.
Yeah, and I've heard, excuse me, I've heard that when you have a positive feelings and attitude about money, when you think about it, that when I have money, I can share it, I can help people with it, I can do with it in the right way for myself, I am worthy of it. All of that has an effect on how much money you actually receive. Is that right? Is that what you learned also?
Well, it's like whatever's inside you, your beliefs and your emotions are going to be you're going to track that. So it's going to be, so what's outside of you in our material world is a reflection of what's inside of us, right? So if we have thoughts of beliefs of scarcity, I'm not worthy, and I hear this with women so much because we're working from the moment we get up until the moment we go to bed. From the moment we're born to the moment we're dead. That's what we do, and we don't get paid for it. So there's this automatic belief, what I do has no value. And it's monetary. I mean, yes, people appreciate it and say thank you, but that doesn't pay the bills. And that doesn't buy us the freedom, the expansion, the generosity, the way we want to live in this world, you know? So when you work on those inner beliefs and you let go of a lot of the limiting beliefs, that you attract a whole other set of circumstances that you can make choices on that lead you to better choices and manifesting more of what you do want. So that was my journey, and I did that in many different renditions. I'm proud to say, yeah.
I was going to say, so you use this newfound knowledge and strength, you decided to help other women, something that I'm very familiar with, that desire to help others. So, and I don't know if I'm going in the right order because you mentioned money chi first, but when did that come? And then you led to the create prosperity and abundance coaching. So everybody remember CPA, she changed the meaning to create prosperity and abundance coaching. So how did that kind of path lead in your life? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was part of the original question, wasn't it? Money chi came at some point when I realized money is energy and it's a tool. And we have control over our energy. Our energy is love, and it's our attention, it's our health, and it's our money, because the world has agreed that money is in a form of exchange. Um, and so I wanted to help women. I was a single mother, and most of my friends were single moms and kind of living very close to the brink, you know, in scarcity. So I created a workshop for them. I wanted to teach them what I learned, what I was discovering, my path. Then so I was raising my sons during this time, and I couldn't work in a man's world anymore. So I had to sort of reinvent what CPA meant. What does it mean, this work? What is this work? I learned well, I actually quit my job. I actually got fired many times because I'm like, I'm doing it my way and I can't do it your way. And they didn't like that. And I just stick to my convictions. My kids were important. I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to only work 5 hours a day and get paid enough for a full-time job. And I couldn't do it in a corporate world. It just wasn't working. There was no space for that. So I invented my own practice. And I was a money chi consultant. And I helped women start their own businesses. I taught a course for an organization called Women's Economic Ventures. And it was like, I loved it. I was teaching entrepreneurship to women who had a dream, and I knew the nuts and bolts. I knew how to do financial statements and how to make your goals and set them, and met with them on a monthly basis, did their cash flow projections and their tax returns. This was a combination of money chi and create prosperity and abundance, because I have it. I even used the word meta CPA for a while. I mean, I was trying all different things. Like, I am not just a CPA. Don't put me in a box with all the numbers. I'm not just a form to be filled out like a commodity. And I really just went on my own and did my own thing, and got really criticized from my family. What are you doing? You're crazy. You have little kids. You can't do this. Stay safe. I'm like, I can't stay safe, because staying safe is really killing me. I was not, I wasn't, I was so stressed. I'm like, this is not my life.
Yeah.
And then my kids grew up, and I'm like, okay, what's next? I saw them leaving the nest, and I knew there was something else for me out there. I didn't know what it was. Um, but it led me to France. It led me to um, helping those women who created their business and created success for themselves. Okay, then there was another problem. It was like they were spending all their time in their business. The same habits, giving, 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 giving. Okay, they were giving to their business, and it was giving back, although some of them forgot to pay themselves, so I had to like fix that. Yeah, that happens a lot. They're busy, 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 not making money is what I would, I'm like, no, that's got to be adjusted. And so I created Find Yourself in France, to go and take yourself out of this, just everything that you're used to, and go to another place where you can just feel your senses again, get in touch with your heart and your desires and your dreams. And it was like, find yourself, like find your soul in France, because I had a dream of being in France since I was a little girl, but my life took me away from all that, and I didn't remember it until my sons were going to fly the coop. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I had a little bit of a panic, and then I'm like, okay, let me reconnect with who I am, who I was when I was younger. And it was France. It was always France. It was never Italy. What happened later? But it was
Well, but I'm going to stop just for a second, because what you're saying is a lot of things that I tell people, women that are looking for what is their passion, what's their purpose, what's their dream, because we aren't necessarily allowed to dream when we were young. Nobody asked us, what is your dream? It's not something that you were asked. And then even if we had one, we were always had fears and things that stopped us from it. So when you actually sat there and thought, okay, I am going to, again, going back to my leap out of your comfort zone and reinvent yourself, what was it that I always wanted to do? I wanted to go to France. So did you actually move to France and start, was it like a travel thing, or to get women to just, which another thing also, even successful women, they don't like to give to themselves, and they won't go on trips because they'll freak out that, oh my God, my business is going to go down the tubes if I even take a trip. And so that's a difficult thing to convince them to do also sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I had a dream about France since I was a little girl, when when they have moms come into the classroom and teach the kids about what they do, like moms and dads. There was a French woman that came in, and she taught us a few words and a few songs, and I heard French for the first time, and I'm like, oh, I fell in love. It was like something inside me woke up. I was 6 or 7, you know, and I always had that in me. And my father took me to France for my graduation from high school. I wanted to go by myself, but it was amazing. And I always longed to have a life there. I longed to go back. So when my son went off to medical school, I'm like, okay, actually applied for a visa, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to France, and I'm going to learn to create a tour for women, to help them find who they are, from fashion to their, whatever their dreams were. Like when you're a little girl, Maybe they wanted to be an artist, but they, had to get a job as a secretary or whatever they had to do, or they wanted to be a chef. It's like all the things that are great in France that they cultivate and they promote, mostly for the men, but they still do it. I created experiences. I curated experiences for them. I was I just found I speak French, first of all. I absorbed the language so quickly. I loved it so much. I wanted to be French. So when I got there, I connected with women there, French women. And it was this it was this trip of cultural exchange and teaching women what they wanted to do when they were younger, like to be artists. So I'd hire an artist and we'd go out in the countryside, and then they'd learn to paint, or I'd hire a chef and they'd learn to cook, so it was like connecting them with their heart, with their passion, so they could live it. And that was Find Yourself in France. I don't know if I answered your question though.
Yes, yes, you did. Yes. And that's really cool. So it was individual. I mean, you really catered these trips individually to the people that you were working with.
These were custom curated. I had a arsenal of amazing contacts in France. I was engaged to a Frenchman at the time. That was my goal, was to be in France. I was going to get there one way or the other. And he was wonderful in that he was a bridge to help me explore this. And so if I had one woman or five women, I dedicated myself to creating the experience for them on a 10-day, 1 week or 10-day trip in
One-
Paris and in the countryside, because I really wanted them to explore authentic France. Because I had a passion for France. I would go there and just rent a car and drive out in the countryside, and had no plans. I had no idea where I was going to go. I would get on a train. I I would get off at the wrong station or place that I thought I was, but I wasn't, because no one was guiding me. And I was just trying to find my own guidance system, which, sometimes it was hit or miss in the beginning, but then I learned. And I have stories. Oh, I have stories.
Can you just give us one story? Because I want to know how that led you to Italy. And maybe gave you, when you finally got to France, I'm thinking you might have gotten the courage then to take this into another country, but how did that kind of lead there? And then, yes, at least one story about maybe getting lost and having it turn into something very interesting.
Okay, I had a couple. Actually, this was through Chile. I had a father and daughter coming to France. He was a World War II veteran, and he wanted to experience the Normandy, the D-Day landing, the Normandy beaches. And he brought his daughter, and I needed to go to the north. I needed to go to Normandy, and I needed to meet up with some people I knew who had, restaurants and hotels and places. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there. I'm going to take the train. On the train, somehow I fell asleep. I was like dreaming. I thought I saw the sign. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, I felt the train slow down. So I got off in the middle of nowhere. And, I went and explained myself, and they don't speak any English in the countryside here. I missed the train. They gave me another train ticket for the next one. I'm waiting for the next one. And this very, very fast train came and blew my hat off almost. I mean, I'm hanging on, while my little slow regional train came behind me. I didn't see it and left the next train. I'm like, what do I do now? It was Sunday, the very last train of the day. I had no idea. They sent me to a little hotel across the way. I told them my story. They said, and here I'm just like, I had no plans. I had no idea. They're like, well, there's a rental car agency up the street. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. I don't drive a stick shift. I'm in the middle of nowhere, France. How are they going to have an automatic car for me to go? But I went. They happened to have a Mercedes automatic car there. I give them my I mean, I give them my documents. My driver's license was expired. I didn't say anything, but they looked at me. I told them my story in my broken French, like this crazy American. they gave me the car, and it turned out that they didn't even charge me for the car. I mean, these are the things that just like happen when you have the right mindset. It's just an example of, and I arrived there, and it was beautiful, and they hosted my guests in the just the most beautiful, warm setting when they did come, when my guests arrived, and it was just so beautiful. And so I'm living all of this every day, like every moment, every day is like challenges and mindset and checking myself, and then something wonderful happens that I never could have planned. And then, going to Italy, same thing. I wanted to do a travel. I wanted to do. Oh, I know what happened. I came back home, and I wanted to create this travel company. And I met a woman who was doing tours in France. So during my trip, I met her, and she sort of mentored me on how to do tours for women. I had no idea. I just knew that I wanted to do them, but there's so many steps and logistics. I had no idea. When I came home, we lost contact, but we kind of stayed in touch. And on Facebook, I noticed all these photos that she posted of a place she bought in a little village in Italy. And I'm like, why are you buying in Italy? I thought you wanted to be in France. And I didn't want to look at the pictures because I still wanted to be in France. I still held that dream. Finally, this was a time when both of my sons were gone. They went to medical school. Both of my sons are doctors now. So I did something right. And I got depressed, Lisa. I went to France, like, okay, I did that, but what next? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, and which is a good question because we don't have all peaches and cream all the time. There are obstacles and there are times when you hit a wall or you hit where you're just not 100% and you need to get through that. How did you get through that?
Well, I got depressed. Um, and then I saw these pictures. I finally looked at them. I'm like, I kept on ignoring them, but it kept waking me up at night. And it was something there. Okay, I'll listen. It was like a message. It was like a direct download. Go and look at those pictures. And she posted and posted and posted because she was so excited, and I just didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to see it. I was just wallowing in my pity. I finally looked at them, and this is when I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. I was just so like, "Oh my God, maybe I could do that." Like she bought a house in Italy in this place, and she was telling everyone about it, all of her friends, and I'm like, "Oh my God, maybe I need that. Maybe that's what I need." And I thought something was very off with me, like I had lost it. I even went to like a coach therapist, and she said, go. She wanted to watch my energy from one, like as I was walking. She said, go and pretend that corner is Italy, and then go and pretend that corner of her living room is, California, where you are, whatever. And I walked, and she saw in my energy how I was so transformed. Like she could see in my posture, in my breath, in my eyes, like all the systems were. And then I would go over there. I'm like, you know. So she's like, well, you have to go. You have to go. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to commit to anything. Just go and be curious.
Yeah.
And I think this is what we don't do.
Mhm.
It's like she gave me permission to just take a trip to Italy and just be curious about this. So I'm like, okay, within 10 days I was in Italy. And the rest is history. And there's a whole book more. I mean, I could write books about that.
Well, this is the selfish part of me now, where I'm going to Italy soon. I mean, obviously, this will air, and then I'll be back by then, and have probably had, I know, the most amazing trip. But some of us have dreams, and then some of us, like yourself, act on those dreams. It's taking the action. It's acknowledging what the dream is, how it makes you feel, what your destiny is, what your purpose is, and that the universe sometimes, like you said, has to throw it in your face in order for you to understand that you have to do this.
Yeah.
So when you got to Italy, what did you end up doing? What happened?
Oh, I hated it.
Oh,
I was in this little town that was in ruins, and I'm like, and there were these mafia type people that were trying to make me buy property. Oh, this is going to get public. I can imagine what's going to happen. I didn't want to be there. I'm like, I got to get out of here. This is not what I was looking for. And then the second to the last day I was going to leave, and I just spent the rest of the time traveling. I went to Naples, I went to Pompeii, I went to the Amalfi Coast. I was just like, I'm not going to waste this trip, but it's not. I was disappointed. This was not what I thought it was. And something shifted. And, I followed every step, and I didn't completely shut down. I went and enjoyed myself. I found the silver lining. The second to the last day, I met a professional real estate agent, whereas in the past, the people that were doing it were not. This wasn't what I want, but it just didn't smell right to me. I'm a CPA. I can smell a deal that's like, mm-mm. I met the real estate agency, and they showed me something that just made my heart sing. And I'm like, I put 2 offers in on 2 different properties because I'm like, okay, there's a reason I'm here. I followed all these steps. I followed all these breadcrumbs, not to just walk away from it all. I was prepared to, but then when this happened, I mean, if this didn't happen, if I didn't meet them, I would have gone home and went, well, I had a great experience. It was really beautiful. But this happened, and so I went with it. It was like a door that opened. I could have been afraid, but the funny thing is, when I was on the way to make the offer, I bought myself a plant of geraniums. And you only buy geraniums in a potted plant if you live somewhere and you have a home. And they're like, right? I'm like,
yeah.
can you do that? And they're like, and the agent, he was laughing. He's like, what are you buying flowers? I'm like, because I'm buying a house here. He was laughing. It was so joyful. And I just learned that, okay, it didn't cost very much. It was like, it's a little tiny place in a little nothing village. It wasn't hundreds of thousands of dollars like in California. It was like the price of a used car, a cheap used car. If you kick it, the hubcap's gonna fall off. But I can move into it. It didn't need any work. It didn't need anything. I just was able to move in. And I just felt like, here's a risk. I didn't even have the money to pay for that. It came afterwards,
It's the
and
leap. Oh my God, talk about a
trusted.
leap of faith. Wow.
I trusted. And I've had experiences in my life where I've had to trust and I've had to trust. So it was a muscle that I built up. It didn't just like a free fall. But it worked out in such a way that I trusted. Things went well, things didn't went well, but I I learned, and I didn't give up, and I learned to say what was important to me. I need this. They were off doing their own thing. I'm like, no, we need to do it this way. And I had to really learn to take this. And I'm a woman in Italy in a little town, and they're all like, "Where's your husband?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm like,
Italy, that's for sure.
you can't make a decision by yourself. Well, they learned to respect me. And I didn't even barely speak their language. But we communicated in French, and I learned a lot. I am good at languages. That is a superpower that I have. Um, but it really helped to just bridge the cultural gap, in so many ways. And it's changed my life. It has absolutely changed my life and is leading me to the next project that I'm offering. But that's that, and my life is just so enriched because I hit a dead end. I hit a wall, and I didn't know if I was going to survive that wall.
And Italy literally took you over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it saved me. And it wasn't easy. It was challenging because you get what you need and it comes fast, and you got to land on your feet and pick yourself up again and put your foot in your mouth and make a mistake and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And you're constantly confronted with all that. But when you're committed, oh my God, the growth that comes out of that is tremendous.
This is the gem here. Yeah, is to believe in yourself, believe in the fact that this is a journey, not a destination, right? You know, and are enjoying the journey. You're learning from whatever obstacles and mistakes that you make, and you know how to kind of shift and change direction if you have to. From what I understand from you, you actually lived in Italy 6 months out of the year, and then you would come to the United States for 6 months, and you did that for 8 years, right? So far.
Yeah, going on 9 years this year. But I'm not there now. This
Yes,
year,
so
I'm not
things
doing
have,
that.
yeah, what are you doing today? What are your new plans to help women and keep your personal journey growing?
Yeah. So my family was always important to me and always is and always will be. It's just that it's a shift between living their life that they want, their dreams versus living my dreams, but not chopping off the family and saying, to hell with you, I'm going to go live my own life. So I didn't want to do that. So I led this blended life, 6 months there and 6 months in the US. And I developed my CPA accounting work so that I could be remote, I could work there, and I can work and I can come back here. I'm sorry. I went there to live and learn my soul and then came back home to work. That's what I did for the now it's remote, but this is, pre-COVID it was not remote. I had to go to the office. Um so yeah, can you remind me of the next part of that question?
What are you doing? What are your new plans to help women now? Because I know that your plans
Oh,
are shifting a little bit so that you can keep your personal journey growing and help women also.
yes. Well, in the last year and a half, I've become a grandmother.
Congratulations.
And this little bundle of joy is just my heart, and I can't be gone for 6 months. So much happens in a little one's life, and now I have another one that's going to be born in September. So life goes on, and my family is a priority. So I'm here more now. But what I want to do, and what I'm doing, is I'm taking all my experience and my passion, my experience in finding my path and first following what society sort of demands of us women, and then saying, no, who am I? What are my dreams? Getting to know who I am, and then acting on it. And in the environment of being in Italy and maybe even France too, but this is a create prosperity and abundance coaching program, or I don't know if I would use that word, but it's like women rise up, stand up. Who are you? Do you even know? Did you live the life that was sort of expected of you? And this is your life. How do you want to live your life now? And I'm going through a second Saturn return. So astrologically, I am in this process again of realigning, realigning my life with my dreams, with my soul, and where is everything going? Where is the future? I'm what's the times? And we hear a lot of negativity in the world, but there's so much beauty and so much growth and shifts that we don't hear about. And waiting for some savior to come and save us and make everything better. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Have you heard that one? It's like you take it upon yourself and you grow into who you are meant to be. Even if you're not there yet, you already know you are there. And then I'm helping them find that and make their decisions, their mindset in alignment with that, and bring them to this environment of Italy where they can just experience all the sensations and living in the moment, and how time is different in Italy than it is here. We have to boom, boom, boom. We have a long list of things to get done, and we, fall into bed without even having a distinction of what the day was like.
I'm extremely excited to go there. And I have this, something is drawing me there also. And at this point, I don't know quite what it is, but I know once I get there and experience it, yeah, you've got goosebumps. I'll understand. So hearing your story, ooh, and now I just got the goosebumps. Hearing your story really energizes me to say, whatever it is you think is how you can be. And I keep thinking about Italy being a really almost a enlightening moment for me. And for you to give that to other women and allow them, because a lot of women don't allow themselves to take this type of journey, but saying, yes, you're worthy enough to take this journey and really learn more about yourself in order to know where you should go. That's a really great thing that you're doing. That is something that a lot of us women want to be able to do for people, but you're actually bringing them to an environment. You're bringing the environment in, and you can help them from a financial perspective too, because you've got all that knowledge now about how to think about money, which is a huge part of what stops women from doing that. And then you were talking a lot about somebody saving you. No, we all know that when we are healthy emotionally and where we're at in our life, we're going to attract other people to come to us that are in the same place. So now you're going to, even, partner wise, you're going to attract the partner that really is meant for you and is at the same energetic level. So that's exciting too. So when you make these changes with these women's lives, I'll bet after they go through this with you now, they're going to actually attract the right partner in their life too.
Oh, it's your whole life is going to just up level. Um, and the community, the women that are standing together side by side, that when something happens in the world, it's not just one woman against, you know, everything that's against her. It's like, no, we're sisters. We're sisters now. We've rised up into ourselves. And the attraction, Italy is such an attraction. It's always was the most popular place. And since COVID, oh my God, it is so popular travel wise. But what I offer though is a little village that's very authentic. So yeah, we can go to Rome and all the tourist places, but then you can come home to this place that's just amazing, wonderful, loving people who embrace you like family, and you can really trust that. And learning to make pasta with the grandmothers so that the art of living is not lost. Because in Italy, I see Italy as indigenous people. And we don't think of it that way, but they have roots that go back before Rome, prehistoric. In my village, like their grandparents and I mean, they can trace back. So they're so connected to the land. So when I say indigenous, they are connected to the land. And that's something that is missing from life in the United States. And I
For
want
most
to
of us,
preserve
except for the indigenous
indigenous
people that were here.
people
Yeah,
who were here,
yeah.
and they're there in Italy. The problem is that the kids don't want to stay there. They don't value it. They want to they want to go to America. They want to they want to have a desk job. And I want to preserve this way of life. So when I'm there and we talk, they're like, yeah, wow, we really do have it great. Or I'll notice there's a trend where they'll leave and they'll get educated. They'll go to the best universities. They'll go to London. They'll go to New York. They want to come back. They're like, okay, we saw that life, we thought it was great, but you know what? There's nothing like my grandmother's pasta. There's nothing like home. There's nothing like the family. There's nothing like just knowing that they've got your back, and you can explore your dreams and what your senses, and a glass of wine and the sunset. I mean, they take time for things that we don't. We rush through it all. So there's something about Italy, and it draws women, and it's very sexy.
And I'm
I
thinking that you've taken the feeling and the knowledge back with you to the United States and
yeah,
sharing it with your family and the grandchildren that are coming up so that they can appreciate life in a different way.
they call
How
me Nona.
wonderful. Oh, how wonderful. So the last thing I like to ask before we get into how people can reach you, is your favorite quote, mantra, or positive affirmation. Because I
Yeah.
truly believe that someone's going to hear it today. I mean, they've heard I'm sure a lot of listeners are ready to book their trips to Italy. In fact, we're going to talk about how they could get a hold of you to book an amazing trip to Italy. What is that? Because I know somebody will get
Oh,
by it.
yeah. Well, there is a mantra that I love and I hum it all the time. And I heard it from Nessie Gomez the first time, but it's an ancient chant. And I'll just try to chant it. But
Okay.
then, okay, it goes like this. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. And it just, there's a river of birds in migration. I just sing, oh, a nation of women with wings. And I'll just sing it over and over in different harmonies. And it just brings me so much strength because we are. And there's no boundaries. There's no countries that have rules. And we don't have all these cookie cutter. There's no color. There's no religion. We're all women and we're all flying. And that's my vision.
Just understanding that we are all connected as women and that we need to stay with this sisterhood and support each other. Because what else
Yeah.
is there, right? We need to support each other. We got a lot of things that are against us in the outside world. And so just support each other and provide that positivity and that great energy to keep us afloat,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Well, we've been separated from each other. And I think that's by design, because when women get together, there's a power that is the power of Mother Earth is behind us. And we must come together. We must.
Yeah. It's been wonderful speaking with you. Really great stories, very interesting life, a lot of leaps in your life. And it's, I didn't specifically ask where did you get the courage, but in your stories, we can hear that you were drawn to make these changes. And even at a time when you were down, it does take courage. So you're very courageous in what you do, but you thought about, you didn't really think about having to take that step. It was something that you were drawn to. You
If
had,
you think about it, Lisa, you stop.
mm,
It's too frightening. And if you tell somebody, they'll stop you because they'll go, oh my God, you can't do that because of this and this and this. You learn to trust your instincts and you take steps and you fall. And I have fallen. And you know what? I went through a period of falling again. And that's why I'm rising up again, even stronger now. And what fell me? A relationship in Italy. It's always that. but I'm stronger for it. So it's like it's not you're climbing a mountain, you're going up and down and up and down, but you're on, it's like the stock market, it's like you trust it, you don't get out, you just trust it and let it go up again.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a great analogy. So where can everyone reach you? Give
Yeah.
me one or two places so everybody can remember it. Yeah.
So I have Facebook and Instagram. So Sweet Life Italy, or My Sweet Life in Italy, or my name Alecia Caine, and then there's Create Prosperity and Account and Abundance, which is a more of a closed group for my coaching clients. But you can reach me through those other two routes that I mentioned. And I have 3 apartments in this town called Guardia San Framondi, and I can spell that to you if you want to add that.
Well,
But
I'll put it at the bottom. Yeah, I'll put it at the bottom so everybody can see it right now. Yeah,
yeah.
it's there.
So between my apartments, which are very basic and not luxury, but give you a chance to really find your soul. And there's other places in the town that are much, much more luxurious, and even Michelin star restaurants within 20 minutes drive in the middle of nowhere. I'm telling you, it's just such a gem that I found this place. And it's wine country. We're the European wine city, and it's just got everything you want without any of the hustle and bustle.
Yes.
stoicism.
The trip that you're talking about in that town and in Italy and everything just sounds so wonderful and inviting. So I will have all the information right here and in the description so that everybody can get a hold of you. And of course, we have become friends, so we are connected. There's no way
Yeah.
that's going to go away. And Alecia is just an amazing person. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast and being on here and sharing your story. I know it will inspire a lot of other women and also inspire women to remember the sisterhood, support each other. If they want to do something, say, yes, go for it and be there for them. That is very important. Thank you, Alecia.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's been a pleasure.
Everybody have a great day. And remember to subscribe to Ladies Who Lead podcast. And I'm Lisa Andria, Transformation Life Coach. Thank you for listening and or watching. Thanks so much for listening or watching. Please subscribe to the Ladies Who Lead podcast to be notified of new episodes. And I would love to hear from you. Let me know what works, what doesn't, and if you have a story to tell, please reach out. Come join the LEAP community at the Ladies Who Leap Club Facebook group. Remember, leaping out of your comfort zone is where the growth happens.